So this is the Philips 43-inch 4K Ambilight TV. So I've bought this to set up in my new studio here, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of actually how it performs. So I'm going to be covering a few topics. One of them obviously will be the video quality, to see actually how good the picture is on the LED screen. The next one will also be the audio quality, to see actually how the sound is on this TV. I'll also cover what ports come on the back of this, and also a little bit about the remote control, and I'll go through some of the settings as well. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you a demo of actually the thing you're actually probably looking forward to, is actually the LED lights at the back of the TV, which make it an Ambilight TV. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, so just starting off with the remote control. It's pretty standard. It feels very light, made of plastic. It takes two AA batteries, and you can see that it comes with a dedicated Netflix button, which is pretty cool. And then you also have the very standard control buttons for the videos, which is the play, pause, fast forward, rewind. And you can also record from the TV straight onto a USB recorder as well. And then you can also go through various different apps that come on the TV using the smart TV button there as well. So pretty straightforward. That is the remote control. Okay, so just covering the ports at the back, you've got the power socket there on the left hand side of the TV. Moving on to the right hand side, here's some ports there right at the bottom. You've got the digital audio out port there. You also have the first USB port just at the middle there. And you also have a network connection port in case you want to directly connect to the internet using an Ethernet cable. You have a satellite and TV antenna ports there as well. And then you have your first two HDMI ports, which obviously will be the key ones. You also have the audio video ports just there as well, in case you want to connect that up directly to any relevant import source. And then moving along to the right hand side, you'll find the second USB port there, and the third HDMI port as well. And just along the bottom there, you can see there's a headphone port as well, in case you want to connect this to any external soundbar or speaker using an auxiliary cable. In terms of the LED lights, you can see that they are embedded within the TV, so there's no LED strip that has been stuck onto it. So they go all the way around the sides here, on the left and the right, and along the top. There's no lights along the bottom here, but you can see at the end of this video how they actually perform. Alright guys, so I've just set up the TV back there on my unit, so let's go ahead and have a look at the Philips Lightwaves demo to see actually how the LED Ambilight looks behind the TV. So sit back and enjoy. hope you enjoyed that demo, guys. So in my opinion, the video quality is actually very good for an LED TV. It's not expensive as OLED or QLED TVs, but nonetheless, if you're in a small apartment or a studio, then it does an excellent job. Also, it depends on the lighting coming from the outside. So if you have sun shining through, then you'll have less reflection on an LED TV rather than the QLED or OLED ones. So for me, the quality is really good. There's some adjustments you can make through the picture settings on the TV to actually bring out that HDR plus option in there. So that really gives you that vibrant and high dynamic range of colors on the TV as well. Now, speaking of colors, the Ambilight LEDs at the back of the TV, they just go really smoothly with the video, and it just makes it a lot easier on your eyes. Gives you that cinematic look and cinematic feeling that you're being immersed in the videos as well. So for me, that's one of the really good things I really like about the Philips Ambilight options. It's hard to go back to a TV that doesn't have lights at the back of it once you've started using TVs like this. Even if you have just an LED strip that you've bought externally, put it behind the TV, it just changes your viewing experience. So I highly recommend that. I can't go back to watching a TV without any lighting behind it. So for me, that is a very good plus point. Now, in terms of the pricing, the 43-inch TV comes in at around £329, which is actually a very good price. And you can get up to 55-inch ones for up to about £500, and even then it's a lot cheaper than some of the high-end TVs out there like Samsung and so on. So for me, I would definitely recommend it. In terms of the audio, I actually was quite impressed. It wasn't the greatest audio, and usually I have soundbars and subwoofers set up with my TVs in general, but just the audio coming from directly inside the TV, I think it does a reasonably good job, especially since you're in a small studio or an apartment or a flat or anything like that. Then it's more than enough. But nonetheless, I would definitely get an external speaker as well, something with inbuilt subwoofers, just to give you that real bass to match the Ambilights and that cinematic experience. So overall, I think this is probably maybe 8.5 out of 10 for me. I would definitely give the other points to having maybe a better quality screen like an OLED one, and also a little bit more punchier sound and bass coming from the audio. So not the worst, but actually this is actually very good, and I would definitely recommend, if you're on a budget, to check this TV out. I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys about the different picture settings that this comes with, a little bit about the Ambilight settings, and of course the different applications that come with this. Okay guys, so the first thing I wanted to cover is the responsiveness of actually using the settings no matter what application you want to use. So I find that when I'm using the TV, if I press a button, let's say for example the settings button, I find that it's a little bit slow when you're trying to navigate through the different items or you're trying to open an app. It's not as smooth as I thought it was going to be. So when I'm pressing right and going to the different settings, I think it takes about 1 or 2 seconds before it actually highlights to the next item. So for me, that's not as smooth as some of the more high-end TVs from Samsung or from Sony and that kind of stuff. So this is quite a budget TV, and you do get a sort of sense for the budget that you pay for this TV. It relates to the actual quality you get in terms of the responsiveness. So for me, that's not so great. So as I'm pressing right, it is a bit of a delay in actually going through these items. It's a little bit slow for my liking, but nonetheless, if you are going to get a good Ambilight TV at such a low price, then I guess this is something that you can live with. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the apps. So if I press the home button on the remote control, you can see a list of applications that come up here. I've reordered them in a specific order. For some reason, the third one in the list is always the default one that you have to select. So I've got that set as YouTube, but then I can navigate through and select whichever one I want, for example, Netflix and so on. So one of the questions I received is if there's any specific types of apps that come in this TV, and I'm going to now show you all of the different apps that come with this by default. So if I go into App Gallery, I'm basically going to scroll through all of the different applications that come with this, and if there's any you want to see, then do make this video full screen and just pause the video. So I'm going to scroll down and just show you a list of everything that's in this TV. So these are all the ones, and you cannot go and download any other different applications, which I find is a little bit annoying because there's other apps, you know, IPTV and that kind of stuff that I'd like to have on there, but unfortunately you can't get them. I'm not sure if there's a way to specifically search and download new apps, because I've tried to find them and this is just a set of defaults. As you can see, this is all of them, and none of these ones in this list are ones that I'll probably be using, which is a shame. A lot of these are international apps and some weird weather apps and Spanish ones and games and kids, and not the greatest selection. probably 90–95% of these you won't be using, which is a bit of a shame. You have categories here, you can select video, you can select entertainment, but again, there's nowhere you can download more new apps, so that's a bit of a shame from that point of view. A bit about the picture settings. So if I hit settings and go down here into picture style, so I've got this set as natural. You can actually keep pressing select and it goes into different options that you can see on the actual video. So this is standard, this is movie mode, this is personal, vivid, and natural again. So there's very few options, but depending on the setting that you've got in your environment and the types of lighting you have around you, you might want to change this. So I think to get the best colors, most people will have them set to vivid. If you're going to watch something late night and you've got the lights off, then you might want to switch it to movie mode, but I'll leave it on vivid for now. I'm going to show you a little bit about the Ambilight style option here. So if I hit select on that, it will give you a few options here on the left hand side, which will give you the different controls of the Ambilights behind the TV. So I've currently got it set to the default, which is follow video. So whatever colors are on the screen in the video, that's what colors are projected on the wall behind the TV. If you go down to follow audio, now depending on the audio coming from the video that you're playing on the TV, the lights will flicker and it will show those colors on the wall behind you. But as you can see, it's a bit distracting and it could give you a headache for too long. I guess this is something useful if you're playing games, maybe Call of Duty or something like that. It might be useful. Or if you're playing music videos and you want to just make it a little bit more like a party scene, then that something might be useful for you. Follow color is if you wanted to just have it select a single color and just have it set there throughout, then that's something you can have as well. Follow flag is something you set up with an app that you download on the App Store for iOS or for Android. It's this follow flag, and that's basically allows you to select different country flags and have that display on the wall. Now I did download this app, but unfortunately it wasn't compatible with my version of Android, but you can set this flag manually from here as well, rather than from your phone. So if I go to, let's say, Belgium, you can see it's set to the Belgium colors, and you can go and find your own home country. So I live in England, so I will set that there. Now this will stay on continuously, so if you wanted to leave the flag in the background regardless of what video is playing, then you can do that. If you don't want to use any particular flag, then obviously you can turn this off and go back to using just the follow video. Now once you do select follow video, you have a few options here to give you the type of lighting that you want to get. So I've set this as vivid, so the colors actually come out quite bright behind the TV. You can set this to different color intensities depending on the categories here. If you want it more light and not too bright, then you can go to the relax mode. I've just left it on standard by default, and that will be good enough for me. Now this Ambilight plus hue option here, you need to download an app for this as well, and you have to connect it to your TV using Wi-Fi to allow you to customize the colors in the background to yourself. So I did try this and it wasn't compatible with my phone. I think the app hasn't been updated for a long time, so it's only compatible with very old phones and very old mobile OS systems. So that was unfortunate. I think none of the Philips apps that I've downloaded have been compatible with my Android. So again, that's a shame. I can't use any of the apps to control the TV. So I'm just bound by using the remote control and the set options that come with it. And I presume the majority of you will have that same experience as well. Next, I'm going into the picture settings. Now here's a few presets that you can select for the picture style. I've set it to vivid so I can get the best coloring options for my videos. You can also manually adjust the color, the contrast, sharpness and brightness, which are very common options that you get in most picture settings. There's also a mode here at the bottom called quick picture setting, which will allow you to cycle through and manually select step by step all the different picture settings you want, and gives you a little preview of this. So for example, it starts off with brightness, then it will go into, let's say, the contrast, and it will go through all of the different options that I previously mentioned. And finally, all settings. So if I go into here just to show you what different menu options you get in here, you'll need to exit everything that you're currently watching. Again, you can go back and select from here all the different picture options. You can change the sound options, the Ambilight options as well, and go through all of the network and the Wi-Fi options here. And if you wanted to update to the latest software, this is where you can do it, and you can check for new versions through the internet or through a USB stick that you can connect to the back of the TV. So it's very basic. There's not a whole load of options, and for the majority of people, if you're only going to buy a budget TV like this, then the preset options are good enough and it gives you a very good experience. Obviously it's not the fastest and smoothest TV with the quickest options in the menus, but then again it's good enough to watch all of these mainstream apps that you like. Now the last thing, this is an Ambilight TV, and I've received questions before is if there's a possibility to just turn the Ambilights off completely, and yes, you can do that. So if you go into the Ambilight style, where I showed you these options before, if you go into off, you don't need to use the Ambilights at the back of the TV, and you can just watch the TV as normal. So those are all of the main options there. Okay, so hopefully that answers a lot of your questions. If there's anything else that I haven't covered that you'd like to know, then do drop a comment below. And I'm going to be reviewing a lot more TVs in the future as well. So if you like watching TV reviews, then do make sure to subscribe. I also do lots of tech and gadget reviews, and I hope you catch those as well. Otherwise, I hope you like this video, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Take care.